Hello VC, Big Star 1000, Gimme Ten 1980. For those of you who are interested, I'm going to continue into the 80s. I think I'll stop at 1989 though and take a break after that. Um, but I enjoy the experience, it makes my listening pile really easy to work at every week, so why not? Want to get started straight away. Um, I will start with a very important record in my life as a listener for 1980, and that is the debut album by U2. Boy, a record that I love dearly because I've listened to it probably a million times. It is probably my most listened album ever, I think, or close to. Um, and I discovered this record when I was a teenager, and I've never stopped loving it. There's a dark sort of melancholy sort of quality about this record, and it's got these touches of optimism layered through this kind of amazing patchwork of guitar, and it's very Joy Division esque, this record, and in my opinion. Had it been U2's only album, it would be hailed as a post-punk classic. But obviously, U2 only started then. I'm going to continue with probably one of the best records ever, the wonderful "Remain in Light" by Talking Heads, which, having read the Brian Eno book recently, was a very enlightening story, the story of Remain Light, as David Byrne and Brian Eno sort of sided together and kind of left the rest of the band um, aside, and kind of took control of everything, and to the point where Tina Weymouth and Chris France really were at the end of the tether and formed Tom Tom Club as a result. Um, just a totally exciting, danceable record, but at the same time clever. And favorite song on this is "The Great Curve." The backing vocals with Nona Hendrix, and the guitar of Adrian Belew on it is fantastic. And every song is a classic. And interestingly, "Overload," which is the last song, was an attempt to replicate the sound of Joy Division, and you could put it on a Joy Division mixtape and nobody would know. It's still that good. I'll continue with another American post-punk record, which again I love dearly. I've loved for many years, and that is "Crazy Rhythms" by the Feelies, a band from Hoboken, New Jersey. Debut album by this fantastic four-piece, which sort of fused the attitude of the Velvet Underground with the rhythms of Can, very much inspired by sort of this sort of motoric Can slash Noi drumming, and resulting in a spectacular record, which again has been a long time favorite, and every song's about a classic. I love Facela, but the cover of the Beatles, "Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey" is great, and the title track is amazing, "Crazy Rhythms." Fantastic post-punk record. Well, no surprise here for this inclusion, Closer, of the second and final album by Joy Division. This is their first Australian press, I believe. An amazing record. Maybe better than, maybe in some ways better than Unknown Pleasures. I listened to it this week, and I pondered which one was the best of the two records. This hasn't got any obvious sort of big singles or big. I mean, Joy Division never did. They always released all their singles separately. But on Unknown Pleasures, there's "She's Lost Control," which is kind of a a big-ish song. On this, there's no sort of song with singles potential, but yet it's an utterly catchy and amazing record. Love this album. What's a song that I really love on it? I just can't think of titles right now. Means to an End, yeah, it's fantastic, and also or Heart and Soul, obviously. Heart and Soul, beautiful. Yes, so I'll continue before you get bored of me. Try to do this in under 10 minutes if I can. This is again, yeah, I'm going to say these are all long-time favorites, and this has been a favorite for the past 10 years, I would think. Underwater Moonlight by the Surf Boys. This is a band from Canterbury, and it's interesting, the Surf Boys, because they've got this sort of Pink Floyd meets post-punk. That's right. They've got a very sort of psychedelia-infused approach to post-punk. That's what I would say. And the singer Robin Hitchcock is very much inspired by Syd Barrett in his approach to even lyrics writing. The first 2 or 3 songs on this are just absolutely killer. I Want to Destroy You and Kingdom of Love. In fact, everything is killer on this. And the title track is amazing, Underwater Moonlight. This is a band, yeah, from Canterbury in England, and it shows because their forebears are, bands like Soft Machine or all the Canterbury school, but they've come into the next wave where punk and post-punk has happened basically, and the sound is really reflective of that. Here is a record from Bristol/Wales. It's Colossal Youth by the Young Marble Giants. This is the only reissue that I'm going to show you today. They're all otherwise originals. This is a record that I have also on CD. I just love this. This is a very minimal kind of record. It's a 3-piece, you can see. Alison Staffen is on vocals, Philip Moxham is on bass, and Stuart Moxham is on guitar and organ. They've got kind of this drum machine thing happening in the background, and often it's just very basic riffs, guitar riffs or bass riffs, and the songs are, yeah, it is a very minimal approach to post-punk, really. It's a sublime record which always delivers. And my favorite track on this is, I really love Include Me Out, which is the second track, and also Eating Noodle Mix is great. I love that song. And Final Day, which is not on this album, which is on the expanded version, is fantastic too. But Colossal Youth by the Young Marble Giants, fantastic album. Now, 2 albums from Liverpool that I, again, love dearly. The debut album by Echo and the Bunnymen, Crocodiles. Stellar record. Again, the band fronted by Ian McKelloch, and with Will Sargent on guitar. Amazing band. Made lots of classic records. This one probably is my favorite, Crocodiles. Has things like Stars Are Stars and Monkeys, Crocodiles, Villiers Terrace, Rescue, all that jazz. Amazing. Again, a tinge of psychedelia, like with the Surf Boys. Really, very much inspired by the Doors and sort of West Coast, 60s West Coast music, but sort of adapted into the Liverpool setting, such as this record too. This is, to me, almost a perfect record. Side A is, I think it's the best side A of any record that I know, bar Steve McQueen by Prefab Sprout, really. Amazing. This is one kind of record where every song on the first side anyway, it gets better and better. You know, you think this first song is great, and then it just becomes a better and better record. First side is, you know, A++ for me. Second side is probably not as strong, but on the strength of the first side, this is a record that I have to include. Obviously, this band is the band fronted by Julian Cope, which we all know, writing the crap rock sampler and the jap rock sampler. Okay, two more. Second last, I have chosen to include Ultravox Vienna album. Interestingly enough, in 1980, John Fox also released his debut album, Mathematic. He used to be the leader of Ultravox. This album features Midge Ure as the leader, but it is a fantastic record. Kind of a blueprint for a lot of electronic music, really, fusing the ideas of Kraftwerk, but sort of relaying it into a sort of post-punk ideal rather than a fully electronic. Amazing record, dark and brooding, and yeah, it's a brilliant record, Vienna. And Mr. X side 2, track 1, you know, I mean, it's sort of like almost a Detroit techno track, ready-made. And the last record is a reggae record, which again is a much-loved record in my collection. And I'm talking about the debut album by UB40 Signing Off, which to me is close to the best British reggae album ever. You may disagree, but I think this album is just perfect, really, from start to finish, with a big tick for food for thought, and the title track too is great. And this version has got the bonus 12-inch UB40 from Birmingham, I believe. And so that concludes this 1980 Gimme 10. Not too long, 12 minutes. I hope I wasn't rambling for too much. And if you feel like posting a response, do so. And if you feel like just putting a comment, yes, please do. I'm very busy at the moment, so I might not be able to get to every. I always read your comments, but sometimes I just find it difficult to answer every comment. All right, VC. Enjoy.